Here, every past life feels real.
You are born in early spring, when the steppe is still not green, only gray and wet and cold. The wind moves around the yurts as if it is looking for a weak spot. The air smells of mare's milk, dung smoke, and wet wool. Your mother breathes hard into the felt, and her hands shake not from tenderness, but from exhaustion. Outside, the horses are coughing. Someone is swearing over the sheep. You do not come into the world in silence or peace. You are born into a place where everything around you can be taken in a single raid. They wrap you in rough cloth. The felt scratches your skin. There's little milk. Spring is lean. The animals are thin after winter, and so are the people. Your father barely looks at you. He counts grain sacks, repairs straps, and listens to the news brought by riders. Somewhere in the east, another fight has started between clans. Somewhere in the south, a herd has been taken. You cannot even hold up your head yet, and still you already live inside a fear the adults never name but carry in their eyes. You grow fast because no one grows slowly here. First, you learn to endure the cold, then the hunger, then how to stay quiet when the adults argue at night. Your first toys are bones, leather straps, and sticks. Your first sounds are neighing, coughing, barking dogs, and creaking carts. The ground is often damp. Your hands are always dirty, your nails always black. Childhood does not feel like a separate part of life. It is just a short space between helplessness and work. In summer, you are already running after goats, stumbling over hummocks, cutting your bare feet on dry grass. The sun burns the back of your neck. Dust sticks to your sweat. You wear an old shirt that was used by two others before you. The food is simple: thin stew, dried meat, and if you are lucky, a little curd. You eat fast because slow eaters lose their food. Whoever is stronger gets there first. No one explains this to you in words. You learn it from elbows, from shoves, from an empty bowl. In winter, everything gets worse. The yurt holds heat badly. Smoke burns your eyes. In the morning, your eyelashes are wet with frost. You wake up to old people coughing and the bleating of livestock brought closer to the humans so they do not freeze. At night, you hear your mother whisper how many sheep will not make it to spring. You hear your father cursing the sky, the wind, the neighbors, the weak animals. You are still small, but you already know this. Winter is not a season. It is a test of how many of you will still be left. By the age of 7, you already have duties. You gather dung. You carry water. You watch the small animals. You pick up anything that might still be useful. A piece of rope, a bit of iron, a dry bone, a scrap of cloth. Your body is thin but wiry. Your fingers are cracked. Your lips are always dry. You are rarely praised. More often you are snapped at. Mistakes do not smell of shame here. They smell of loss. You let a goat get away, and that's meat gone. You oversleep, and a calf freezes. You drop the pot, and the family eats worse. Then comes the year when the steppe seems calm for too long. That kind of calm is suspicious. The men grow more tense. They look toward the horizon more often. Visitors arrive armed. Conversations stop when children come too close. You see your father sharpening his knife not once, but 3 times in 1 week. You see your mother drying extra meat and hiding it deeper away. Even the dogs bark differently at night now, not at wolves, but at men. The worst things almost always arrive first as rumor. One dawn, you wake to a scream that does not sound like an ordinary argument. It tears through the air. Outside, there is the thunder of many hooves. The yurt shakes as if the wind has suddenly become heavy. Your father grabs you by the shoulder, shoves you toward your mother, and runs out with a spear. You catch a glimpse of the sky through the flap. There is dust, a lot of dust, and inside it, black dots of riders. Your heart starts pounding like it wants to leap out before you do. The first smell of a raid is not blood. The first smell is burning felt. Then comes horse sweat, smoke, the urine of terrified animals, and the iron taste in your mouth from fear. People are screaming outside in different voices. Someone is being cut down near the pens. The sheep are scattering. Your mother drags you by the hand so hard that bruises will stay on your wrist afterward. You are not running toward safety.
You are only running away. There are no walls in the steppe, no doors you can lock. There is only speed, and fear has more of it than any person. You fall almost right away. Your foot catches on a stake. Your face hits the dirt. Earth fills your mouth. Your mother jerks you up, but in that same instant, a horse crashes into her. At first, you do not even understand that it is a horse. There is only impact, hooves, mud, and a heavy Chujoi body above you. She screams. Then she screams shorter. Then she does not scream at all. You see only her arm in the sleeve, twisted at a wrong angle. You have no time to cry. A hand grabs you by the hair. They drag you like a sack. Your knees slam against the ground. In front of your eyes, boots, horse bellies, straps, and shadows flash past. You hear a foreign tongue, sharp, quick, dry. They throw you beside other captives. There is an old woman, a boy younger than you, a girl with a broken face, and two men already on their knees, hands bound. Behind you, the yurts burn badly, thickly, smokily. Your home does not fall in some grand way. It only blackens, smolders, and sinks, like everything cheap and mortal. That is when you first understand that captivity is not one moment, it is a long thing. First, they do not kill you. Then they bind you. Then they make you watch while they count the loot. Horses, sheep, women, children, weapons, pots, hides. You are no longer a person inside your family. You are one unit inside someone else's count. You have no name, only an age guessed by eye, the strength of your arms, and the question of how long you can walk. Everything else burned with the yurt. They drive you across the steppe without stopping until the sun starts burning your eyes. The rope cuts into your wrists. If someone falls, they are not always helped up. Sometimes they are just beaten and left to keep moving. You keep trying to look back as if home is still there behind you, but there is only distance and smoke spreading across the sky. You are so thirsty your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth. Your legs shake. Beside you walks a man with a split cheek. The blood on his neck is already black with dust. He is still breathing. That counts as luck. At night, they tie you tighter and leave you on the ground. No blanket, no shelter, only the cold rising up through your ribs from below. You hear someone quietly howling so they don't get hit. You hear one child call for his mother until his voice goes raw and then stop. You hear the guard horses snorting in the dark. You do not sleep. You shake so hard your teeth knock together. From that day on, you learn a simple truth. A man may not die during the night and still wake wishing he had.
After several days, they bring you to a large nomad camp. There are many yurts here, much smoke, much livestock, and many people who look at you without surprise. Captives are nothing rare here. They inspect you like a calf. They open your mouth, feel your shoulders, kick your shin to test how steady you are. One old man says something about your age. Another laughs when he sees your fear. In the end, you are given to the household of a warrior who recently lost his youngest worker. Not a son, not a kinsman, just a pair of hands. That is how you enter your new life. Not through choice, not through ritual, through assignment. Your owner is short, hard, with a weather-beaten face and a scar by his ear. His wife looks at you as if you are a dirty pot that still has to be scrubbed before it can be used. They show you a place near the entrance where you will sleep, not inside the family space, but closer to the draft. They give you a bowl, not a new one, a cracked one. Then they give you work before you even have time to eat. From morning to dark, you carry water, clean dung, hold colts, gather fuel, fix stakes, drive sheep, cut rope, dry hides. Thick, hard skin quickly forms on your hands. Your back aches all the time. You do not look at food as food. You look at it as the chance not to get weaker.
Sometimes they throw you a bone with some meat left on it. Sometimes only greasy broth from the pot. You learn to eat quickly and in silence. They beat you for slowness. You do not understand half the words spoken to you. You make mistakes, you get struck. You make more mistakes, you get hit with a strap. The language enters you through fear, through commands, through warnings, through curses, through counting animals, through the names of the things that can hit you and the things you must not drop. Little by little, you begin to answer. At first in one word, then in full phrases, and then comes a new kind of pain. The better you understand, the clearer you hear what they call you. Not by your name, by your place. By your teenage years, you already know how the camp is built, who eats first, who can hit for no reason, who only hits for a reason, who steals, who watches, who is old but dangerous, who is young but already cruel. You know where the best horses are kept, where the dried meat is stored, where the women wash clothes, where the rams are slaughtered, where the sick animals are left. You live inside someone else's order, like a stone inside a boot. They put up with you as long as you are useful. That is your only protection. Sometimes you see boys close to your age, but free. They learn to ride, to shoot, to throw a lasso. They are praised for their skill. They are given better meat. They laugh at you when you carry heavy sacks or limp after a beating. This is the difference between myth and truth. Songs talk about the great steppe and the freedom of the rider. In your truth, the steppe is vast, yes, but for you it is only vast because there is nowhere to hide in it. The first major event comes in summer when the camp is packed in a hurry. Horses are saddled before dawn. Women stack the loads quickly and angrily. Men argue over where the detachment will ride. Bits of words reach you: revenge, rebels, loot, people.
Your owner takes you not as a warrior, but as part of the baggage train. You lead the spare horses. Your stomach is empty. Dust scorches your face. You understand one thing: if battle starts, you will be close to death, but without the right even to hold a weapon as an equal. When your group reaches the enemy camp, it all begins almost the same way it once began for you. First, dust, then screaming, then fire. Only now
Я знаю,
you are
вы
standing
потеряли
on the
всё,
other side.
но здесь, перед этой
You hold
юртой, мы
the
начнем
reins while the
заново.
riders charge ahead. You see a woman running with a child. You see an old man dropping to his knees too late. You see the smoke lying low over the ground. For 1 second it feels like you're home, your mother, your father. But battle does not wait for anyone's memories. It just keeps working. They order you to gather the stolen livestock and finish off the wounded sheep, so the meat will not be wasted. The knife feels heavy in your hand, your palm slick with blood. Nearby lies a boy a little older than you, his belly torn open. He is still alive. He looks at you with cloudy eyes and reaches out a hand as if asking for water. You freeze. Then someone shouts at you from behind. You turn away. By evening, the boy is gone. You do not know if he died on his own or if someone helped him. But from that evening on, you understand this: captivity changes more than your fate. It changes the limit of what can still shock you. After the raid, your owner is pleased. His household has taken no losses. The loot is good. For your quick work, you are given a piece of meat not last, but almost right after the second circle of men. It is not even a reward, only a sign that you have become more useful. Later, they allow you to ride an old, mean horse out to the far herd. It bites and jerks you around like a sack of bones. Your thighs burn, your lower back aches, but still it is movement instead of a fixed place. A man can fool himself for a long time on a scrap of freedom that small. Years pass. You grow. Your shoulders widen. Your face hardens. The traces of childhood are worn off by wind, sun, and too little food. You can now wrestle down a ram, lift sacks, mend tack, drive a herd through rain. Sometimes they give you a better knife. Sometimes they even ask how many animals returned from pasture. You begin to think maybe you will outlive the weak children, the sick in winter, the ones who broke early. That is what temporary survival looks like. Not honor, not respect, just delay. One autumn day, your owner sends you to move part of the sheep through a low stretch after rain. The clay is heavy. The animals get stuck. The sky hangs low and gray. The wind is wet. You shout, wave a stick, shove stubborn rams, and sink yourself ankle-deep into the sucking mud. You return home soaked to the bone. That night, the coughing starts. At first, it is ordinary, then deeper, as if something inside your chest is tearing loose. In the morning, you work anyway. Here, sickness is not a reason to lie down. It is only extra work for the body. The cough does not leave. It gets worse. The phlegm tastes bitter. Sometimes there are thin, dark streaks in it. One cold morning, you fold in half beside the pen and cannot pull air in right away. The edges of your sight go white. The mistress looks at you with annoyance, not pity. A sick worker is damage to property. They give you hot broth once, then send you back outside. In the steppe, weakness is not treated like in stories. You either survive it or you are written off.
While you are sick, someone else begins taking your place. A boy from a newer raid. His face is narrow, his eyes angry, his movements sharp. You recognize yourself in him. At first, he only carries water and holds ropes. Then they trust him with more. One day, you catch the way he looks at you. Not thankful, not sorry. Careful, hungry, waiting. You understand something terrible. In a system like this, no one needs to hate you. It is enough that someone else is younger, stronger, and cheaper. That winter, one more disaster falls on you. While moving the horses, one mare spooks, jerks sideways, and kicks you in the thigh with both back legs. The pain comes dull at first, then sharp, then in waves, darkening the edges of your vision. You drop into the snow, into the dirty slush under the hooves. Your leg seizes up. They do not help you stand right away. After that, you limp so badly for days that every step feels like a wedge being driven into your hip. Nobody says it out loud, but you can feel it in their voices. You are almost finished. Now your work changes. They send you out less. More often, they leave you with the dirty, heavy, slow jobs. Cleaning hides, cutting up dead animals for the dogs, watching sick sheep, sitting by the fire mending things that should have been thrown away long ago. This is not rest. It is the lowest stage of usefulness before the fall. You are still alive, still working, still eating, but you already know your stronger years are gone. The body that kept you alive is now betraying you first. Then comes a hungry year. The grass is poor. Spring dragged on too long. Several foals died. The sheep are thin. The people are tense and greedy. More and more often, the pot holds only liquid and a few scraps of fat. The mistress hides food more carefully. Men argue more often over grazing land. You lose weight fast because a sick man has no reserves. Your cheeks sink in. The belt pulls tighter to a new hole. And with hunger comes the old fear. When food is short, they start counting the least valuable more closely. One night, 2 sheep disappear from the camp. Suspicion falls on the low ones, on boys, on women without kin, on captives, on you too. They drag you out of sleep. The cold bites you bare feet. The moon is pale. One of the warriors grabs you by the collar and demands a confession. You did not take them. But in things like this, truth is not the heaviest part. The heaviest part is the mood of the man questioning you. He hits you across the back with a shaft, then across the ribs. The air tears out of your chest in a rasp. You still keep saying the same thing. They find the thieves in the morning, 2 boys from a poor branch of the kin, not you. They do not kill you. They do not even apologize. They simply throw you back into work. And that is the clearest measure of your place. Your pain changes nothing. Your innocence is not an event. The next day you carry water with bruises, and the evening wind burns your skin beneath your shirt where long purple welts have risen. You are alive. That means you are required to be useful. Everything else is extra.
With each passing month, you remember your old home more often, even though the faces are already fading. You do not remember your mother. You remember her sleeve in the mud. Not your father. You remember his back in the doorway before the raid. Memory is cruel too. It leaves not what warms you, but what cuts. Sometimes you try to remember your childhood name, not the name they call you here, but the earlier one.
The sound turns inside your head and never comes. That is almost worse than the beatings. It means captivity has reached the deepest place. The final event does not come as a battle or as an execution in a square. It comes quietly and dirty, the way the end often comes for people like you. Late in autumn, they send you with 2 other workers to move part of the herd through a narrow river flat. The sky hangs low. Freezing rain falls. The banks have turned to sludge. The sheep fight you every step. You limp worse than usual. The water is dark, first at your knees, then at your thighs. One ram breaks away and is swept downstream. You go after it, not out of courage, out of fear of punishment. The current is stronger than it looked from the bank. Your bad leg slips into a hollow between stones. The freezing water slams into your stomach, then your chest. You try to wrench your foot free, but the boot is sucked down into the mud. The water smells of weeds, cold, and something metallic. You shout. They shout back from the bank, but they do not rush in at once. The livestock matters more than panic. You fall sideways. Your face goes under. The taste of mud, sand, and blood from your bitten tongue mixes into one. Your hands slide over stone. When they finally pull you out, you can barely feel your fingers. Your whole body shakes so hard that your teeth will not stop knocking. They do not carry you like kin. They haul you back like damaged property that might still be made useful again. In camp, they lay you near the fire, but the cold inside you does not leave. By night, the fever comes. You hear your mother, then the raid, then the dogs from childhood. Sweat runs down your neck even while you are freezing. The cough tears through your chest as if dry branches are breaking inside you. For several days you lie there staring into smoke. Sometimes they give you water, sometimes they forget. Around you life keeps going. Meat is cut, arguments flare, people laugh, tack is repaired, children are cursed at, animals are counted. The world does not slow down because one captive is dying. That may be the last and truest thing your life teaches you. You keep waiting for some kind of ending, some word, some sign that you lived hard. But real life rarely sums a man up for him. It just ends. On the last night, you cannot sit up anymore. Your chest is wet with heavy breathing. Your throat is clogged. Something stabs beneath your ribs. You turn your head toward the yurt entrance and see a strip of black sky. There is nothing special in it. No sign, no miracle, just wind pushing thin snow across the ground. You were born into fear of loss. You lived as someone else's property. You are dying almost as quietly as a weak sheep in the cold season. And still, in the final moment, one stubborn thought remains. You lived longer than you were supposed to. In the morning, they find you cold. They carry your body quickly, not out of cruelty, out of habit. A dead man takes up space needed by the living. They look at you briefly. Someone says you used to be tough. Someone else answers that in the end you gave out. That is the whole conversation. They do not bury you the way songs say men are buried. No stone is raised, no shaman is called to speak your name. They carry your body beyond the camp, where the ground is hard and the wind takes the smell quickly. Memory of you lasts only a little while. For a few days, they remember you because of unfinished tasks. Someone curses because you did not fix a strap in time. Someone notices the new boy is bad at driving sheep through the stretch where you used to manage well. Then even that passes. Your trace remains not in stories, but in worn reins, in a repaired stake, in the old cracked bowl they hand to someone else after you. That is how thousands live and disappear, the ones no chronicler writes down. Other people's power stands on their backs and nobody knows their names. If your life is reduced to hard numbers, the picture's simple. One raid took your home. One death of your mother stayed in your mind as the last whole image of family. Around 20 years of your life were spent in captivity. Dozens of winters were survived in a place that was never yours. Hundreds of times you were beaten, for mistakes, for weakness, for suspicion, or simply because you stood lower. You moved thousands of sheep and horses, cleaned mountains of dung, carried hundreds of buckets of water, and got no land, no name, no right to belong. What did you get? Delay, the skill of enduring, the ability to read another man's mood from footsteps and tone of voice, a few short, rare days when you were not beaten and when there was a little more meat in the bowl. A few years of relative strength, enough not to die as a boy. What did you lose? Family, the language of childhood, your own name, the right to choose where you slept, what you ate, whom you followed, and what you risked your life for. In the end, you even lost the memory of who you had been before captivity. This is what power looks like in its bare form. It is not always a throne, a banner, or a grand speech. Sometimes power is simply the ability to decide who gets meat today and who gets struck. Sometimes freedom is not a high idea, but the right not to look over your shoulder at your owner's shout. You did not become a hero. You did not become an avenger. You did not go home. But your life says one thing clearly: survival is not victory. Sometimes it is only the long price a man keeps paying while he still has breath. You would like to believe that somewhere there is a fair order where suffering is remembered and weighed, but your life teaches something else. The world often stands not on justice, but on force, habit, and someone else's need. The ones above call it order. The ones below call it fate, because otherwise they would go mad. And still, even in a world like that, a person keeps one last stubborn thing: to live one more day. Not to lie down too soon, not to give himself away completely while the heart still beats. You wanted freedom. This is its price, when it was taken from you in childhood. If this life hit you the way it should, then the story worked. Then behind the dust, the felt, the blood, and the cold, you saw not a legend of the great steppe, but a man almost ground down to nothing. Remember that the next time you hear a beautiful story about conquest, glory, and power. Behind every story like that, there are always the people whose names never reached us, and most of the time, everything stood on them.
This fate is behind you. Enter the next story.